let's have a little watch together. I'm sorry, I'm dying over here. Um, yeah. All right, so I was actually just recording a segment, just covering QIND and the latest press release, which I'm still going to do later. But at this point, might as well like just get to the nitty gritty. How's everybody doing? Sorry. Yeah, I've been battling this like sinus thing going on. It's just like breaking into summer. And you know what? One of the things about summer in Buffalo, and this is the truth, is that it gets pretty hot up here. We have really humid summers, but you know what? I enjoy them and they're it's well worth the wait, especially after the winter that we just had. So guys, I hope you're doing good. I had to get on here quick. And Delabas, Nate is in the house. Delaba, drama Delaba. Cheers to you, sir. Coffee cheers. So yeah, all right. I definitely want to wait for a couple more people to enter the group here, so that way we could watch this Ilus interview together and sort of break it down and just sort of take it in. That we've been waiting for this for a while now. And hey, happy birthday to Rickers. He started the Ilus Discord. It's his birthday today. So if you're in the Discord, if you're on Twitter, give the guy some love. He's been great. He's been a strong supporter of the Ilus fam. And so, happy birthday, Rickers. Cheers to you, man. There's a lot to talk about. I haven't posted in a while. I've been really busy the last couple of weeks, school winding down. I did do, got my first sale on a house in real estate. So, been accomplishing some things. And so, it's just an exciting time, just for me personally. Now, one of the cool things that I'm excited to do is get back into this channel. So, make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to be covering a lot of companies. I have an interview. One I've been covering lately is IFUS, ticker IFUS. And you know how I found it? I just took out the L from Ilus and I just randomly selected a letter from the alphabet. And I popped. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't actually. Lisa Matthews actually brought up that stock to me. And so I met a gentleman, the professor, who's big into IFUS, and they have a lot going on with the cattle industry, which is pretty cool. And I do have like 340,000 shares of that. So I'm excited to see what that company does. I'm going to be talking IGPK. Yes, I'm wearing the Mean Gene shirt. The Buffalo Fireside Chats, they are now pink current. I know there was some tension there with that tweet that they put out that was weirded a little bit oddly. But, they could have spun that in a more positive way. So, but yeah, this week I'm going to be touching base on a lot of stocks and a lot of companies that I've been covering and wish to give you guys updates on. So, leave a comment in the comment section. Who do I have here with me? I know 10 of you are watching. I know who one is. Delaba. So I want to get into this video. I know most of you guys are at work and you don't have the luxury of being off during summer like I do. But I'm still working. Got to grind. So let's get into this video. Let's get into this video with JP. We're going to watch the whole thing straight through. I'm not going to interrupt it. And if you can't hear the audio, let me know. Let me know in the comment section. So, all right. Cheers.
Ilus International is a mergers and acquisition company which is primarily focused on, but not limited to, acquiring and growing tech and manufacturing businesses globally. Since its founding in 2021, Ilus has acquired several businesses and is in the process of developing these businesses while completing other acquisitions as well. So with me is JP Blackwell, the managing director at Ilus. So great to have you here in New York. You're living in the UK.
Yes.
Yeah. So
thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And just give me an overview of Ilus International. What's the mission of the company?
So we're typically focused on acquiring and growing companies that have that X factor of technology in their sector or have the potential to develop that in the sector that they're in. We've got 4 subsidiaries and each have got their own very specific mission. So firstly, our emergency response subsidiary is focused on protecting and saving lives and protecting the lives of our heroic first responders. We've got our defense subsidiary, again, focused on protecting warfighters on technology that protects us from the likes of terror threats and so forth. We've got our industrial subsidiary that's focused on the manufacturing critical infrastructure that we actually rely on, for heating, cooling our homes, for transportation. And then we've got a renewable subsidiary focused on more efficient means of environmental recycling, so recycling e-waste and things like that.
So kind of a conglomerate.
Essentially a conglomerate,
of
yes.
a lot of different growing industries.
Yeah, and we'd like it to become a conglomerate which is really making a positive impact.
Got it. So what do you look for when you are acquiring a company?
So essentially, we're looking for companies that are aligned with our mission that I've just mentioned. In the emergency response space, we're looking for that disruptive technology. We've got firefighting equipment businesses. In defense, we're looking for more smarter technology that will protect warfighters and things like that. So businesses really need to have, as I said, that X factor, that disruptive technology. They also need to have a strong balance sheet. They need to have strong management or potential for us to be able to put strong management in place and things like that.
So that makes sense. Yeah. Are there areas, we've heard a lot of talk about AI this year. Are there areas of tech that you see really growing, or areas of manufacturing that are growing right now?
Yeah, so AI is obviously actually an important focus area of our business, but there's a lot of, we focus primarily on manufacturing businesses and manufacturing that disruptive technology. We like to own the technology that we're selling into the market. So in the emergency response sector, for example, we're seeing a huge growth area where there's a shift from larger, less efficient, more expensive vehicles to smaller, what we call rapid intervention, rapid response vehicles. So you'll know that, if someone is in cardiac arrest, or if there's a road traffic collision, a structural fire, if there was a fire in this building, response time of the emergency service is critical, right? But if they're coming down the road in a massive truck that's struggling to get through the congested areas of New York, of course, that's why there's a growth area. There's a shift towards rapid response vehicles. In defense, certainly there's a shift towards AI. There's a shift towards smarter technology to protect warfighters. Obviously, there's less troops in Afghanistan as a practical example, right? So they're looking at more technology that can actually be used in the war zones, obviously, acting from a distance, so to speak. In the renewable sector, we talk about more efficient means of recycling. How do we dispose of lithium batteries, for example, when they reach the end of their lifespan? And those types of problems that we're focusing on, that's where there's obviously huge growth areas for us as a business.
Really interesting. What have been some of your previous acquisitions?
So we've been going for a little over 2.5 years since we acquired, or since we took over from previous management. We've acquired 9 companies since then, and we've incorporated a further 4. So there's 13 all in the group. We started in the emergency response sector with a company called Firebug. And that company manufactures very disruptive firefighting technology. I'll give you a practical example. It uses water mist technology to put out fires as opposed to large volumes of water. So water mist can actually extinguish any class of fire, as opposed to having to use chemical agents, foam, dry powder, things like that. So very disruptive in terms of its technology. We then went on to acquire fire protection businesses, vehicle conversion businesses, all in that emergency response space. And then in 2022, we acquired a public company now called Quality Industrial Corp. We changed the name from Wikisoft to Quality Industrial Corp. We changed the ticker to QIND. And we acquired that company to use it as a special purpose vehicle to do further acquisitions in the industrial sector. And through that vehicle, we've acquired 52% of a company called Quality International. So it's a business that had a $270 million valuation. So quite a large operation, 10 million square feet of manufacturing facilities in Dubai. And that company is really, growing, over $100 million of purchase orders currently in production. As I said, we've incorporated some businesses too. We've got the defense division. We incorporated a company called Hyperion Defense Solutions. They've got some very innovative tech that they distribute. They've got global exclusive rights to it. And then the renewable sector, which is involved in the urban mining business. So quite broad. We've got quite a broad focus, but all very important.
Well, they're all innovative, all doing innovative things.
Yeah, and that's been core to our core principle throughout.
Yeah, that's really your mission,
exactly,
right? So, how have these acquisitions met your expectations? Have they exceeded? I mean, what has been the result of these, would you say?
Sure. I mean, it's been a challenging road for us, in having quite diverse businesses. Not everything's been easy, which is quite obvious, but we've certainly had businesses that our industrial subsidiary has certainly far exceeded our expectations. We always knew it was going to essentially perform the best for us in the short term, and that's obviously why we entered that industrial sector. But now it's got $200 million of purchase orders in hand. As I said, $100 million of orders currently in production. And that's really where it's surpassed our expectations. It's definitely growing faster than we expected it to. We expected a resurgence after COVID, but not as much and as quickly as we've seen it in that industrial sector. And then here close to home in the US, our firefighting distribution business, that doubled its revenue last year. Bearing in mind that we grew over 600% last year, did 78 million revenue. So we did grow a lot in 2022. And then our defense divisions, also the demand and the growth in that defense division for that counter-IED technology, that smart technology that we sell, obviously also surpassing expectations.
Now, I know you have offices all over the world. Are there areas of the world that you see are growing faster, either due to COVID or not due to COVID, just because of other policies?
Yeah, certainly. The Middle East economy across the Middle Eastern region is definitely booming at the moment. I'm not sure how noticeable that is from here in the US, but it certainly is booming. And that's why we've got a number of acquisitions. We're actually headquartered in Dubai, so we're well positioned to tap into that growth that's taking place in the Middle East, particularly in Saudi Arabia at the moment. Also, Southeastern Europe. I'm not sure if people are aware, but there's a lot of growth taking place in Southeastern Europe.
So that would be which countries?
So Serbia, Romania,
Croatia,
those countries coming down towards Greece, things like that. A lot of growth definitely taking place there. It's the reason we have our e-vehicle. We've got commercial electric utility vehicles that we manufacture in Serbia. We get millions of dollars of government incentives in doing that, but we're positioned alongside a number of large global manufacturers, automotive manufacturers in Serbia. So, and that's because there's a lot of growth taking place there. Here in the US, some states, Florida, Colorado, there's a resurgence. There's definitely some growth taking place, and we focused on some opportunities there too.
Are you looking for more acquisitions? And if so, any particular targets or target industries?
Yeah, definitely. We're actually targeting in those areas. So we're targeting a large utilities manufacturer in the Middle East. We're targeting a wildfire equipment and vehicle manufacturer in Southern Europe. It also has operations in Colorado, coincidentally, and we're targeting a large firefighting equipment and vehicle manufacturer in Florida. So together, those three companies would equate to about $150 million in annual revenue for us, substantial assets on our books, and obviously they're in those growth areas that we've spoken about.
So now I read this press release about the Quality Industrial Corp. You were just referring to it, QIND, ticker symbol. They're skipping the QB stepping stone, planning a straight uplist. Can you provide some context about that, or maybe a timeline?
Yeah, sure. So QIND, we about to announce the investment bank that's going to be underwriting its offering. So I think by the time this video has aired or this interview is aired, that will have been announced. It will be filing a pre-14C, its S1 registration statement, and its NYSE American application. Once the application and the S1, the application is approved and the S1 registration statement is effective, QIND will be uplisting to the NYSE.
And how would that uplisting impact Ilus's shareholders and the financial outlook for the company?
I'll touch on that now. Just quickly, you mentioned timeframe. So we expect that uplisting to take place roughly between late August and the end of September. So all going well. If you look at the processes and how long they take, mid to late August is really would be the sweet spot for us in terms of that uplisting. In terms of benefits to Ilus and how it benefits the bottom line and the shareholders, it obviously adds huge underlying value to Ilus. I mean, Ilus is a company which already has over $250 million in assets, but I certainly would expect that uplisting would increase the balance sheet of Ilus. It also would allow Ilus, Ilus owns more than 70% of the stock in QIND, so it would allow Ilus to secure financing against that stock, which then means we can close some of the larger deals that we're currently targeting with. So it's increased growth opportunities for the business, which is obviously of huge value for shareholders. But I also know that shareholders want tangible value, right? So we're currently discussing a dividend for Ilus shareholders that would take place around the uplisting.
What about an Ilus uplisting? Would that put you in a position to list on a national exchange? And would you do that here in the US?
Yeah, we would look at doing it here in the US. Certainly, we've actually got a very clear plan for Ilus to uplist to a national exchange still this year. In the meantime, though, we've applied to uplist to the OTCQB, and after the uplisting of QIND, we'll focus then on the uplisting of Ilus to a national exchange. We've got a very out of the box method of being able to do it. I don't think anyone would really see it coming, but the important thing is that we get it up. It meets all of the requirements as it is, except for in terms of bid price. So the idea would be that through that out of the box solution, technically would be able to move it up to a national exchange.
Okay, well, please on that. It's very
Definitely, yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Thank you so much, JP.
Absolute honor to be here. Thank you so much.
All right. That was awesome. I'm glad I didn't have any difficulties with the audio sharing that. Put down your comments in the comment section. Like, I want you guys' thoughts. Those of you that are here. Rob, good to have you. I got Cass and Kay here as well. Cheers to you guys. I hope you guys are having a great day. This is amazing. So this is what I like, and I know I could just hear it already because we are going to talk a little bit, and we're going to go through that reverse split point. That people were freaking out about the reverse split. They're going to do anything and everything that they can to get QIND to the not the Nasdaq, the NYSE American now, and they're going to do it. And I had Sam Aker on the show, and we disagreed whether or not they would be able to do it with or without a reverse split. And Sam actually was like, "Yeah, I think they're going to have to do it." We're not talking about a 0001 stock that's going to do 1,000 to 1. All right, that's not. We're not in that territory here. As an Ilus subsidiary, I want every subsidiary that they launch to a big board to have a tight share structure and be as efficient as possible. So, and that consistency is going to help us in the long term. That's the fact. So, yeah, my point is this: I'm not worried about the reverse stock split for QIND, not whatsoever. It's going to happen. How it happens, I think it's 1 to 2 or 1 to 20 to 2 or 20 to 1 or 2 to 1 in that range. We're going to look through the actual PR in a second, and I'm going to actually go through this, but I'm not worried about that. Does this mean Ilus would have to do a reverse split to go to a big board? We have a rather large share structure, and we are aware of that. How they're going to do that, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I don't want to speculate. The last thing I want to do is say that, oh, I think Ilus is going to do a reverse split. All right. Is it a possibility? Anything's possible. All right. And I'm not saying they're going to do that. I'm not saying they're not going to do it. I'm saying it's a possibility. 2 years ago, they committed to not doing a reverse stock split. And they said they wouldn't see that for some time in the future, at least 2 to 3 years. We're approaching that 2 to 3 year mark. Whether or not they do it, I don't think they're going to do it. But I could be completely wrong. Maybe they are. It's all speculation. Who knows what they're going to do? Nobody does. I do think they are looking out for the shareholder and trying to create maximum long-term value. So let's go to the I want to get to this PR that they were talking about. What do you guys think? Rob, what do you think? I did not plan on going live. Don't worry, this doesn't count for Wednesday. We're still going to go live on Wednesday. Let's get into this right here. This is the PR that they were talking about. Not IFAS. Hang on 1 second, guys. I did it wrong. Go figure. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm getting a little better at this. All right. Here we are. QIND appoints investment bank, everything you just talked about, the 14C, the S1. Let's get into this part right here, the process. All right. They prepared its preliminary application for review. This is everything he just said. All right. Upon approval of the company's NYSE application and completion of the offering, QIND intends to list to the NYSE American. We know all that. The investment bank, they're going to be doing a roadshow. They're going to try and gain as much funding as possible. It's going to be good. I think they're going to be successful at it. QIND has exclusively appointed a New York headquartered investment bank to act as the lead managing or underwriter in connection with the sale of the company's common stock in a firm commitment to public offering and concurrent listing on the U.S. National Securities Exchange. The company's capital markets advisor, Exchange Listing LLC, is collaborating with the investment bank on the financing and listing of QIND. And there's a quote there from JP, but we got to just see that live broadcast, which was really, really cool. S1 registration statement. So they expect to file an S1 statement for the sale of its common stock in a firm commitment, public offering, and concurrent listing on the U.S. and National Securities Exchange within the next 10 business days. The offering shall be for an amount of gross proceeds of up to $7 million. Coinciding with the filing of the S1 registration statement, QIND will submit its preliminary application for review by the NYSE. All right, let's get into this reverse stock split talk. All right. Having today filed the required Schedule 14C information statement, QIND has given notice that its board of directors authorized a reverse split of the company stock, which may only take place in order to list QIND's common stock to a national exchange. And very significantly, the reverse split may only take place at the time as the company's common stock is listed on a national exchange. The reverse stock split will have no immediate effect on the company's current value, as its market capitalization shall remain the same after it is executed. A reverse stock split has no direct effect on the total dollar value of a shareholder's shares. So, like I said, this isn't a 000 stock that's doing a RS to like crash it again and dilute it again. A lot of these companies, they do it over and over. This is a totally different ballgame. So they've authorized a range is a 1 for 2 and not more than 1 for 20. So I was right. I sort of messed that up earlier. So upon receiving a market effective date from FINRA and following approval of the company's NYSE application, as well as the effectiveness of its S1 registration statement, the company will choose the ratio required to meet or exceed the $2 bid price requirement for uplisting to the New York Stock Exchange American. The RS will only take place if required at the time to meet the bid price requirement and is only authorized to take place for the purpose of, as well as at the same time as uplisting to a national securities exchange. All right, so they pretty much cleared it up right there. They're only going to do what they absolutely have to do to uplist. If they exceed that after that, if the S1 goes well, if they get a lot of funding, if they get a lot of institutional investors, these investment banks, if they're willing to help them out substantially, you may only be looking at a 2-to-1. You may not be looking at a reverse split at all. It all depends on where we are at come mid-August. And so I think that they're keeping all options on the table. And I'm not saying, oh, it's a great. They're doing what they have to do to get to the big board. All right, this isn't 1,000-to-1 split. I think they're going to add value, and let's not forget they have another acquisition in the works. All right, they're already working on something else, which is another substantial acquisition for QIND. That thing's a beast, and like he said, Ilus has 250 million in assets. I think that's what he said exactly. 250 million, quarter billion, and we're talking QIND. We're not even talking Hyperion yet. He mentioned replay solutions or the recyclables, not to mention ERT, which they plan on uplisting to a big board. So, guys, this is all positive information. I'm pretty damn excited. And you know what? Yeah, we're exhausted as Iowa shareholders. For a lot of us that rode that first wave, we know the true value of the company. We know the sincerity of management. We know how transparent they've been. And yes, you got to pop some timeline pills every now and then because, well, timelines don't always work. And that's why I was sort of laughing when she asked about a timeline. And I immediately took 5 pills. Just kidding. No, but seriously, it doesn't always go as planned. So, all right, you guys are silent. I know it's Monday morning, but man, I know George's probably still sleeping because he's on the West Coast. So I had the luxury of waking up, working out, and having a nice cup of coffee. I'll tell you, nothing beats that. So, yeah, I'm going to be covering a lot of stocks. I am going to do an update, an IGPK update. I was getting a little heat on Twitter about CYBL, about how I haven't covered it. I got to say, like, I've been the most consistent in bringing you, consistent information, in regards to CYBL whenever it's available. But there's no official news right now. So I'm not going to just like make up stuff to put out there. When people use the word pump, if I really was pumping it, I'd be covering it and just pulling stuff out of thin air, but I'm not. It's an investment and I'm going to cover it when I want. And that's it. But enough of that because there's nothing to talk about. IFIS, like I was saying earlier, IFIS is going to be a huge one. My buy-in point on that was 145. We're pushing the 3 mark. All right. I think the stock's going to go. I think it's going to start grooving. I really, really do. The value of the company is growing because of what they're bringing to the market could transform the cattle industry, absolutely transform it. And I'm looking forward. And I had the professor on. He smart guy. had a chance. We had the chance to sit down and have a call, and it was a good call. I'm glad he simplified his answers for me because it was rather complicated. But no, if you have the time to read that PDF I put out, that PowerPoint, there's tons of information on there. I'm actually looking forward to Mark, the CEO of IFIS. I would love to get him on. We're working stuff out. He's been super busy, but I'm hoping to get him on this week. I'd like to get Gene back on so he can fill us in on how IGPK is going to move and groove forward, as well as GRPS. Adam Thomas, he was a great guest, and that's another stock that's on my list. GRPS. I'm telling you, lots of them. IFIS. You got IFIS, you got IGPK. I've been covering Triple DX. I had the whole management team on a couple weeks ago. We had a great conversation. Give that company a check out because their share structure is crazy tight, and they don't want to dilute it. They want to add with value, and that's what they're doing. CGRE is another one. Mitch, the CEO, the new CEO, he did put out a podcast. I did watch it. I'm going to do a video update on CGRE at some point. It was sort of vague. I mean, like, he did lay out some things. We'll see what they do. He said there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and we'll see what they bring to the table. We'll see how they grow in the coming months. So yeah, that's it. That's what I got. I've been covering a lot of these guys, and I'm going to continue to do so. So if you see me disappear from time to time, it's because I'm busy. So I'm not ditching any stock specifically. I'm just anything I sell or get out of, I'm going to let you guys know. I've been transparent since day one, and that's the whole purpose of the show is to do firsthand due diligence, to basically get CEOs on, get managing directors on, get people that are in the management team on, so that way, we could ask them questions. And that's why I like to do a lot of these interviews live, is to open up the chat section so that way you guys can ask these questions. And I got to say, the BFC fam has been awesome. You guys have asked really great questions to our guests, but I hope to be doing more of those interviews as time goes by. And yeah, that's it. I got some comments. Dino, Victory Meta. Good morning, Eric. Yes. Good morning to you. Yeah. Oh, here he is. I'll show up for the chicken wing talk. Yeah. You know what I want to do? I don't know. You guys ever watch what the heck is it? Is it Hot Ones? It's the that chicken wing challenge. You got to watch The Undertaker do it. I don't think he had anything to drink when he did that chicken wing challenge. It was pretty awesome. But I would totally do, the suicidal wing challenge here. I'll make a fool of myself. if that's possible, but it could be possible. But do I want to put myself through it? Maybe I'll do it. You guys could have a laugh at my pain. So, but yeah, that was a good video. Very good video, man. I'll tell you. That's all I got. That's all I got, guys. It was nice to hang out this morning. We're gonna go live 8 p.m. on Wednesday, and you know what? Hey, did you hear the craziness going on? That's where I gotta go. Summertime, totally different type of job now. So, all right, guys, that's it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and hey, cheers.